Hey everybody, it's Mr. Herman back with another video. We're on Tuesday 5/5/20. Is our lesson for today. Remember, these lesson notes can be obtained by you right inside the Google Classroom link. There's going to be classroom notes, lesson notes, then homework and answer key is another document. And then, of course, the video you're watching right here is the third thing you can click on. So this is not required to do. It's just more if you're having trouble with it or you want to watch me do it and follow along, you can print this page out before you work on the actual homework, which is something separate. That's the page with these 4 problems on it for homework, okay? For the quiz on Friday, we are going to do a study guide first, and I expect you to turn that study guide in like any other assignment that day. So that'll be something you turn in first, and then check your answer key with that. So it's going to be posted soon, so you can see that too. It's going to be a paper quiz, but then you can input your answers into Google Classroom right there, just like you have been doing in the past, but I have a paper form for you to follow as you go, so you don't just click on things. We want to actually try and take our time and show our work and understand it better. Okay, so on to reflections. Reflections are, let me zoom in here. I already filled this part out because the first video didn't work right, but it's working now, so here we go. It's when a figure is flipped over a line. That's what we're doing. So there's a kind of a rule here. Yesterday we had to like add or subtract something to X or Y. Today we're going to be taking the opposite of one of them. So if you're reflecting over the x-axis, you can see here, this is your original coordinates. You're going to multiply the y-coordinate by -1. If you're reflecting over the y-axis, you're going to multiply the x-coordinate by -1. And we have 4 examples we're going to do. I hope we get to all of them. We'll see if we can get them all done. So let's start with the first one right up here. And I'll try to zoom in nice and close on that again because it's hard to see these. I know it is. So in this first one here, it wants us to reflect over the x-axis. If we remember what we just said a moment ago, that means we're going to be taking an x-axis is the y by -1. So what I do is I just copy the x-coordinates down exactly as they are. So I'll go like this, A prime, B prime, and C prime. And again, notice how I can't, it's very hard to fit these little primes on this tiny little grid, but I'll try and do it on the homework ones, the bigger ones on the bottom if I can. So the x's are all the same. So we get 2, 3, and 1. We're going to multiply all the y's by -1. So -1 times 3, -3, 1 times -1, -1, and 2 times -1, -2. Since that's the pre-image right there, it's already done for us. That's this pre-image right here. It's already graphed. We're going to go ahead and just plot this one now. It's supposed to go across the x-axis. So this is the x-axis right here. So this should reflect across that, which means it's going to be down here. Think of this as your mirror image area here. It's called a line of reflection, actually. So 2, -3 is 2, -3, and that's the A. 3, -1, 3, -1 is B. And C is 1, -2, right here. Again, I'll try my best to connect these without a ruler. Hopefully it'll be better than yesterday. It was just terrible yesterday. Now, mine looks a little smaller, but that's just because of the thickness of the lines. I don't know how much I can actually zoom in here. I can zoom in quite a bit, actually. So you can see that really it does look about the same. Notice it flipped across. One of the key things to recognize here is that each point, like B and B prime, is exactly the same distance from the line of reflection. See, this is 1 away, that's 1 away. A is 1, 2, 3 away. And A prime is 1, 2, 3 away from this line, the x-axis. Here this is 1, 2 away. C prime is 1, 2 away. So again, that's something you're supposed to notice on that. I'll zoom back out a little bit now. Let's go over this one over here. This time we got a rectangle. It's going to go across the y-axis. So that means it's going to go across right here. This is the y-axis. So based on that, it's going to be kind of flipped over here. So let's just go across the y-axis. As a reminder, it means we're going to multiply the x by -1. So I'm going to go M prime, A prime, T prime, H prime. And these are hard to fit in. It's kind of tight here. I apologize for the small space. You can always, the ones on the bottom have more room, a lot more room. And then we're going to be taking the x times -1. So the first ones here, which happen to all be negative, see -5, -2, negative. We're going to make them all positive because we're multiplying by -1. So let's go ahead and do that first. So this becomes 5, 2, 2, 5. Now the other one is going to stay the same. Whatever it is staying the same. So this one's -3, -3, -5, and -5. Again, sorry for how small it is. It is hard to write that small for me. Now let's go ahead and graph that. So the first one is 5, -3. So 5, 3, 4, 5, -3 is right here. 2, -3. 1, 2. -3 is right there. 2, -5 right here. And 5, -5 right there. You can kind of see the outline of that now. And if I darken it up just a little bit for you, you can really see it better. You can see now all that did was just kind of flip over across here. Okay, good. Now let's go over these quick rules again. Just like yesterday. The pre-image and the image are congruent. Remember, they're the same shape, same size. The corresponding angles, they're all 90-degree angles in this case. They're smaller for the triangle, but they're all 90 for this. They're also congruent. That's our symbol for congruence. And the corresponding sides are equal in length. You can see that they are 3 and 2. These are 3, and the sides are 2. They are equal. So we say they're congruent in geometry. That will be the same every day. One of these days it's not going to be the same. You'll see which day it is. I'm not going to tell you yet until we get to it. So let's go ahead and try this one over here now. I think I can zoom out a little bit this time. Get a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So let's try this bottom one here. If we have time, we'll do the fourth one too. So this one says graph the we don't have the pre-image not done. We didn't graph it yet. So we're going to do the pre-image first. So 3, 4. So 3, 4 is right here. Then we got 0, 5. 0, 5 is right here. And then we got 1, 1 right there. So there's our triangle. Again, try to do this without a straight edge. Not so easy for me, but you guys might be better at that than I am. Now we're going to reflect over the y-axis. Over the y-axis, if you remember from our notes earlier, it means that you're going to be multiplying the x by -1. So A prime, a lot more space down here, huh? And B prime and C prime. So I'm going to be taking the x times -1. So -1 times 3 is -3. -1 times 0, -1. And then copy these down. They stay the same. 4, 5, 1. Let me go ahead then and let's go ahead and plot that one and see how it looks. Now it's going over the y-axis, which means over here. So it's going to end up over here, flipping over here. So -3, 4 is right here. I had it, lost it there. Hold on. There we go. I'll make my hand out of the way. Sorry. There's -3, 4. Then I got 0, 5, which is the same, isn't it? That's the same spot. Well, it makes sense because that dot is on the axis. Then -1, 1 is right here. I'll try to connect these the best I can. A straight edge. It's like looks almost like Christmas bells to me, like the 2 bells. Sorry about that mixed up line, but it looks like a bell now. Like a little bow there, you know, you get the bells at Christmas time. They're kind of nice stuff. That's what it looks like. So that one's perfect. Good. Let's go on to the last one now. We have time. Let's squeeze the last one and make this about a 10, 11-minute video. Okay, this graph is going to be over the x-axis this time, so it's going to reflect over the x-axis, which means we're going to multiply the what by -1. Give you a second to think about that. Over the x-axis is multiplying the y-coordinate by -1. So we got E prime, F prime, and G prime. And again, it's hard for me to quite label these, but do your best to label them. Okay, so we got the pre-image, -3, -1. So -3, -1 right here. 2, -4. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then -5, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5, 6. That's some triangle there. That's a big one. There we go. There's our pre-image. It's going to go over the x-axis, which means it's going to flip kind of like this. It's going to kind of flip up here like this. So let's see how it's going to look. X-axis means the y's times -1, so the x's stay the same. And the y is going to be 1. 4 times -1 is 4. -6 times -1 is 6. So let's plot this and see how it looks. -3, 1. -3, 1. That makes sense. Then we got 2, 4. 2, 4 is right here. Then we got negative 5, 6. Negative 5 is 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's our last point. Let's go ahead and connect those. Remember, they're going to be equal, so they should be exactly the same size and shape, just one is flipped over. All right, again, remember making sure that we're following along with these videos the best we can, asking questions, and then on Friday, we're going to have a study guide you have to complete first and turn in, then you take the quiz after that. Okay, that's an assignment we want you to turn in like anything else. All right, have a great day, happy solving, and we'll see you soon.